What's up, YouTube? This is Mathis97, and welcome to episode number 23 of my WWE 2K15 Universe Mode. And here we are, Friday Night Smackdown. Making his way to the ring at this time is Cody Rhodes, who continues his quest to become #1 contender for the Intercontinental Championship. He has already defeated not just one, but two of Ryback's, hand-picked opponents. Because as we remember, Cody Rhodes, he's got to defeat 4 opponents in a row if he wants to have any hope of facing Ryback for the Intercontinental Championship. And of course, if Cody Rhodes' opponent should win, they instead will be facing Ryback for the IC title. Oh, and look at this. What an opponent Ryback has lined up for Cody Rhodes this week. His former rival, the Viper, Randy Orton. And we know that Randy Orton has had history with Ryback in the past, and with Cody Rhodes as well. But we got to take a quick look at this week's match card. And here is the match card that was that took place earlier on, as we did see Bray Wyatt picked up another victory over Santino Marella. Fandango defeated Tyson Kidd in one-on-one competition, so Fandango has now defeated both members of the International Airstrike. And in the main event, Bad News Barrett and Mark Henry defeated Jericho and Sheamus in a tag team matchup. And like I said in the last episode, the main event will be the Usos taking on the Primetime Players. And we've also got AJ Lee versus Brie Bella. So we got a pretty good looking match card lined up for this episode of SmackDown. But of course, we kick things off Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, one-on-one. And who can forget the Survivor Series Team Orton versus Team Ryback matchup, where Team Orton scored the victory with Randy Orton as the sole survivor. And of course, at the time, Orton and Ryback had been feuding for the Intercontinental Championship, which culminated in a hellacious ladder match at the TLC pay-per-view, which of course was won by Ryback to retain his Intercontinental Championship. But in the build-up to Survivor Series, Cody Rhodes actually had scored a victory over Randy Orton. So Orton, you got to think he's not only would he like another shot at Ryback's Intercontinental title, because Ryback, we know Orton, he was boasting prior to TLC that once he won the Intercontinental Championship from Ryback, he was going to be the first man ever in the history of Universe Mode to capture both the Intercontinental and World Heavyweight Championships at the same time. However, of course, things didn't exactly pan out for Orton as he would have hoped. And, of course, he wound up losing at TLC. He did challenge Mark Henry in a triple threat match at the Royal Rumble for the World Heavyweight title. And that was basically just sort of a mad scramble to try and figure out who's going to be facing Mark Henry, because at the time, we thought it was going to be Edge facing Henry for the World Heavyweight Championship, since Edge scored a victory on an episode of SmackDown, the final episode of SmackDown in WWE 2K15 season of Universe Mode. But of course, DLC and just other things hadn't been working out. We actually found out that Edge and Christian were off filming episodes for Haven, guest starring Christian. So that was a bit unfortunate, just bad timing. And I'm sure, Edge and Christian were both kind of frustrated about the timing of that. However, we will have a special announcement next week regarding the World Heavyweight Championship Elimination Chamber. So could it potentially be the return of Edge and Christian? Well, we're just going to have to wait and find out. But yeah, you're just going to have to stay tuned for that next episode of SmackDown, which will be episode 26 for those of you who are new to the channel, can't exactly keep up with the schedule, or are unfamiliar with how I run things around here. But anyways, let's focus back in on this matchup. And Cody Rhodes, he has beaten Orton in the past. He beat him once before. However, you'd think that would just make Randy Orton that much more aggressive in this matchup here tonight. They don't call him the Apex Predator for nothing, because Orton, he's vicious. He's cold-blooded, ruthless. It's also why they call him the Viper. He will go to... are there any limits to what Randy Orton will do? He will stop at nothing to achieve what he wants. And of course, we know Randy Orton, he's also pretty selfish, so he's all in it for himself. He doesn't care about the WWE Universe. I'm sure Randy Orton could also give a damn about the rules. Well, couldn't give a damn about the rules. And, you know, Cody Rhodes he's got to take that into account. And, you know, like I said before, desperate men do desperate things. And Randy Orton is a very desperate man right now. I mean, he's down on his luck. Failed to capture the Intercontinental Championship, failed to capture the World Heavyweight Championship, and now he has one more opportunity to potentially challenge. Wait a minute, look at this. Look at this. Vintage Orton right there with the DDT off the ropes. And Cody Rhodes, that could be it. Orton into the cover. Doesn't even bother to hook the leg. That's a 2 count, but Rhodes kicks out in the last second. That just shows a bit of the arrogance, the cockiness of Randy Orton. He's just so full of himself. He truly thought that he didn't think he had to hook the leg there. And look at this. Orton, while he was going for the RKO, didn't quite connect, but this time, Randy Orton, he hits it, the RKO, and that could spell the end for whoa, wait a minute. Cody Rhodes kicks out at 2.5. Wow. Cody Rhodes, I mean, I think this is truly a new Cody Rhodes we've been seeing these past number of weeks. I mean, Cody Rhodes, we saw the hellacious match he had with Rey Mysterio a couple of weeks ago. Well, hellacious isn't exactly the word to describe it, but it was very back and forth. You know, down to the wire. He just, you know, managed to squeak out the victory over Mysterio. I mean, Cody Rhodes, you could see by the end of it, you know, just had to crawl into the cover. And now an Alabama Slammer to Randy Orton. There's a cover. 1, 2. Oh, but Orton kicks out at a count of 2. And we see right there that kick out off the RKO. I mean, Cody Rhodes, I think the Cody Rhodes of even just a month ago, I don't think he would have been able to kick out of an RKO, but Cody Rhodes truly has improved his game exponentially, and now he could be looking to finish off Orton here. He's got him. Crossroads connects, and that could do it. Cody Rhodes, if he can just get the cover on Randy Orton. There he goes. 1, 2, 3. Cody Rhodes has picked up yet another victory, and he will live to fight another day. He's got one more opponent left to face, and that will be next week on Smackdown. He's just one victory away now from becoming the #1 contender for Ryback's Intercontinental Championship. You know, Cody Rhodes, he may be on the cusp of becoming the next big thing here on Smackdown. As if he can get the victory next week, he will have Ryback one-on-one at the Elimination Chamber. And that may just be the opportunity that Cody Rhodes needs to step up to that next level and to capture the Intercontinental Championship that has eluded him ever since day one, ever since Extreme Rules, when he competed against The Miz and Christian in a triple threat match for the IC title. Of course, if we remember correctly, Christian pinned Cody Rhodes in that matchup, and it's just been a learning experience from there, because Cody Rhodes really has come a long way since that fateful day, that fateful night at Extreme Rules. But now it's time that we move on to our next matchup of the evening, and this is a Divas contest. And making her way down to the ring at this time is AJ Lee. And speaking of the learning experiences and coming a long way, what about AJ Lee? She has been contending for that Divas Championship since day one as well. And, I mean, she's had opportunities over the limit in WWE 13. She was in a triple threat match against Beth Phoenix and Karma, which she was unsuccessful in that one, as Beth Phoenix, of course, retained the Divas Championship on that night. Then we fast forward ahead to Night of Champions. It was AJ Lee versus Kaitlyn versus Natalya in another triple threat for the Divas Championship, which was, of course, won by Kaitlyn. And then we fast forward to Survivor Series. AJ finally got a one-on-one opportunity for the Divas Championship against Kaitlyn, but Kaitlyn won the matchup there. And since then, AJ just hasn't quite had it. She hasn't been able to get herself back to the top to challenge for the Divas Championship. But I think she's really close. If she could get a victory over Brie Bella here tonight, I mean, how about Brie Bella? She's been impressive past couple of weeks. I mean, she's scored some victories in her own right. Brie Bella could perhaps be the next #1 contender for the Divas Championship. But I mean, if AJ can get a victory here tonight, I think she's got a really good opportunity to face Summer Rae for the Divas title at the Elimination Chamber. But Brie Bella's also got a really good opportunity in her own right. I mean, she's been looking impressive. Perhaps we could see a triple threat for the Divas title between these three Divas right here. So we can see Summer Rae is at ringside. You know, just wants to get a front row seat here to this match and keep a close eye on her top two challengers, her top two contenders for the title. But what about Summer Rae? She's beaten a wide variety of divas in her time. I mean, of course, think back to the Survivor Series pre-show where she teamed up with Oksana to take on Lita and Natalya in an elimination tag team matchup, which was, of course, won by Summer Rae and Oksana. However, since then, Oksana suffered a bit of an injury, and she was unfortunately sidelined from competition for, an unknown amount of time. We don't know when she'll be back, if she'll even be back. I mean, the injury she sustained was pretty severe. She actually tore her hamstring on a house show. So, I mean, Oksana, Oksana was probably in line to be the next challenger for the Divas Championship. I mean, she was looking real impressive. However, things just didn't play her way. But now there's a cover by AJ and a kick out by Brie Bella. So, I mean, now we're at a point where we really have to develop some... Wait a minute. AJ with a Shining Wizard may have just knocked Brie Bella's lights out. 1, 2, 3. No, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Brie Bella kicks out of the Shining Wizard. Well, I wasn't expecting that. I mean, this just kind of shows that Brie Bella really has been stepping up her game as of late. She truly is a new Bella. But I mean, if we take a look at the Divas division right now, we're at a bit of a turning point right now where we have to kind of develop new divas. I mean, new divas are going to have to step up. I mean, over the course of Universe Mode, the Divas division has lost a lot of top-tier talent. I mean, we've lost the likes of Karma, Beth Phoenix, Caitlyn, Oksana. I mean, really, they've just all the divas who are starting to build themselves up have just kind of, disappeared for, their various circumstances. Of course, Beth Phoenix, Karma both retired. Caitlyn suffered an injury as well, and now Oksana down with an injury. So, I mean, really, it seems like once these divas are getting to the top, they just get injured or something tragic happens to them that sidelines them. Or, if you're in Karma or Beth Phoenix's case, they've competed in their careers for quite a long time. So, I mean, at that point, really, they were just out of time. Time just caught up to them. But now if we take a look, I mean, some divas who are, of course, we've still got Natalya, who's quite established. And, of course, we've got the Divas champ, Summer Rae, who's still trying to make a name for herself in her own right. And then, of course, we've got Nikki Bella, Brie Bella, and AJ Lee, who've been here for quite a while. Just haven't quite managed to make that transition up to the rank of Divas champion. And then, of course, we've got some newer divas like Tamina, Paige, and the Funkadactyls, who are just starting to make their debut and just kind of got to work their way into the system a bit more before they can actually step up to challenge the champ. But AJ, countered by Brie Bella. And now Brie Bella, what's she looking for? No, AJ counters now, elbow right to the face. And look at this. AJ, she's got Brie Bella, and she hits that maneuver there. And that could do it. 1, 2, 3, and AJ has picked up the victory over Brie Bella with her signature maneuver. Got to figure out what that move is called. But as we can see here, that Shining Wizard I thought was going to put Brie Bella away. But, Brie Bella showing her resolve. She managed to kick out at almost a 3 count, but she managed to stay alive. And that was a very impressive matchup on the part of both these two divas. Very back and forth. Brie Bella showed us a little something that we didn't think she had in her prior to tonight. But in the end, this nice mat slam right there from AJ was enough to put Brie Bella away. And I really think the Shining Wizard, really knocked Brie Bella for a loop. She may have kicked out, but it definitely softened her up for AJ to score the victory. So, I think it's a very good possibility that we see not just AJ, not just Brie, but I think it's a good possibility we see all three, including Summer Rae, of course, competing for the Divas Championship at the Elimination Chamber. I think that's a fair assumption. I mean, both AJ and Brie are looking mighty impressive. So I think it's only a matter of time before that announcement comes to pass and we have a triple threat for the Divas Championship at Elimination Chamber. But now it's time we move on to the main event of the evening, a rematch from 2 weeks ago, as it's the Primetime Players taking on the Usos in tag team action here in the main event of Smackdown. And of course, the Primetime Players have hit a bit of a rough patch ever since losing to the Wyatt family on Smackdown for the tag team titles. I mean, the Primetime Players have really have just sort of lost their way. And of course, we saw last week on Smackdown, they actually went head-to-head in a matchup to try to vent their frustrations with each other, try to get out any problems they may have with each other right now, try to put that in the past, put it behind them, so they can look forward and try to recapture the tag team, or not recapture, but try to get back into the tag team title scene, try to get another opportunity at the gold. But of course, we did see Darren Young score the victory on that outing last week on SmackDown. And then, on the last episode of Main Event, we saw Titus O'Neil lose a match to Damien Sandow. I mean, Titus O'Neil really just hasn't been able to rebound since that tag team title matchup. But on the other hand, Darren Young seems to have gotten himself back into winning ways. I mean, he's also got a victory over William Regal on episode 19's edition of Main Event. I mean, Darren Young, he scored a couple singles victories. Titus O'Neil, on the other hand, still down on his luck a little bit. But maybe a victory over the Usos here tonight is just what the primetime players need to get themselves back into shape, get themselves back into contention for the tag team titles. But what about the Usos? The Usos have been, they were way back when. They were part of the original roster in WWE 13. However, circumstances happened. Things went down that the Usos, they took a bit of a break. They were, off WWE TV for quite a while, several months in fact. And then, heading into TLC that month of December, the Usos made their return. They came back to the WWE. And really, since January, the Usos have been starting to get showcased a bit more, started to become a more prominent face here on WWE television, especially on SmackDown. And then that victory over the primetime players 2 weeks ago, I think really put them on the map. And, they could be on the cusp of becoming one of the next breakout tag teams. Of course, we've got other teams like International Airstrike stepping up. We've also got the New Day, who have been down on their luck a little bit, but still, nonetheless, they're a tag team you got to consider. We've, of course, got the tag team champions, the Wyatt family, who really have to keep an eye out. They have to survey the entire tag team division. We've got the Shield, who haven't really ever made a play for the tag team titles themselves, but you never know. I mean, you can never count them out. They are a tag team, quite dominant tag team at that, so you always want to keep an eye on them. Even if they don't contend for the tag team titles, you never know when you might wind up crossing the Shield's path, might wind up facing them in tag team action. And then, of course, we've got Awesome Truth, a team that just formed, just made their debut as a tag team. Well, didn't really make a tag team debut just yet, but we did see them form up on the last episode of Main Event. They've aligned themselves, Miz and R-Truth have. And we saw what that did for the Miz on the last episode where he defeated Xavier Woods one-on-one. Perhaps we could see a bit of a foreshadowing of one of the next great tag teams in Universe Mode. We've got Awesome Truth making their debut in the next few episodes. We'll see them debut as a tag team, I would assume. And any other tag teams I might be forgetting, there's a bunch of tag teams out there. We've got, I can't really think of any more off the top of my head, but I know there are more out there who are just kind of waiting. Of course, we've got the Brotherhood. We've got Goldust and Cody Rhodes, who, at the moment, we've got Goldust teaming up with Booker T to challenge the Wyatt family at Elimination Chamber for the tag team titles. So that's a thing. Imagine if Goldust and Booker T could score the victory. They could be a bit of a dark horse. You wouldn't expect, the legends of the past to have such a prominent role in current times, but you never know. You can't count them out. They are legends for a reason. And at the moment, Cody Rhodes is of course challenging for Ryback's Intercontinental title. But if things should go south there, maybe he could reunite with his brother Goldust and possibly take another run at the tag team titles. We'll take a run at the tag team titles, I guess. Because, they haven't exactly been together all that long. Goldust making his return to Universe Mode, or making his debut in Universe Mode, I should say. Return to the WWE debut in Universe Mode back in the month of December as well. So, really, we're at a point where the times are changing here in the WWE, where we're starting to build up new stars, bring in a new talent roster, and at the same time try to push some new faces up to the main event picture. Of course, we have Sin Cara, who just made a return recently. So Rey Mysterio and Sin Cara can, reform back as a tag team. So that's another team to consider. But anyway, let's focus in on the actual matchup now, as I've been doing a lot of talking about the tag team division. How about this match, as we see Darren Young nearly got his head kicked off with that super kick, covered by the Uso, but Titus O'Neil gets in there to break it up. But Jey Uso, he's got Darren Young reeling here. This could be a huge opportunity for the Usos to do something big here. They could be on the verge of victory. As look at this, Jimmy Uso going to the top rope here. Oh, could we see it? He's going for the top, and there's an Uso splash, and that may just put Darren Young away. Cover one, but Titus O'Neil gets in there to break this one up. We did see last time these teams faced off, it was an Uso splash that finished off Darren Young. So, you never know. We may see lightning strike twice here, as there's another cover, but a kick out by Darren Young before count of 2. But right now, Darren Young trying to fight both Usos off because they were both in the ring at the same time. And that allowed Jimmy Uso an opening to capitalize. And now goes for a super kick, and he hits it. That's a second super kick Darren Young has taken. He's really out of it now. Titus O'Neil needs to make a tag. Titus needs to get into this matchup before things go even further south for the Primetime Players. And look at this, Darren Young. He makes a tag, and Titus O'Neil is going to get into this matchup. And what the hell is this? Whoa. A doomsday device from the Primetime Players. Maybe they haven't lost a step. Maybe the Primetime Players are just as good as ever. You gotta be on the same page to hit a move like that. Darren Young showing some of that hidden strength, you wouldn't expect him to have. But they call him Mr. No Days Off for a reason. He's always in the gym. He's always training, and really building up the muscles for moves like that. Just something that would catch you completely off guard. A doomsday device. How often do we see Titus O'Neil go to the top rope? Man, I don't even know what to say about that. But look at Titus O'Neil. Backbreaker there to Jimmy Uso. And the Primetime Players may be on the verge of victory. They could be on a comeback here, as Jey Uso gets in there to break that one up. Saving his partner, saving the matchup for the Usos. And right now, Titus O'Neil. Wait, counter from Jimmy as he hits a jawbreaker. And here's Jimmy Uso. Irish whip from Titus. And he's got him up, going for something. But Jimmy counters into a roll-up. 1, 2, 3. He got him. Jimmy Uso caught Titus O'Neil completely off guard just when it looked like the Primetime Players were making a comeback. Could have been close to a victory. Just like that, Jimmy Uso catches Titus O'Neil. This is why you can't let your guard down even for a second. And Titus O'Neil, just for a split second, he lost focus, and that gave Jimmy Uso the opening to get the roll-up and score the victory. Right there, that roll-up, Titus O'Neil never saw it coming. And once again, the Usos have defeated the Primetime Players in tag team action. Big win there for the Usos. I want to thank you all for watching this episode. Make sure to stay tuned for the next one, and keep on YouTubing.